Yeah, you're really blown out, Bill.
You're blown out, Bill. Blown it.
Blown out.
So, hey, by the way, we're live as far as I know.
Looks like
you don't know.
Yeah, I don't. That's the truth. I'm just gonna have to take everybody's word for it. So
everybody.
Yeah, let me ask Dave, what did you do this weekend? Listen, now because I watched you gigging, and doing live music literally for like 2 hours of your like 16 hours worth of performances on Facebook Live. So I know you were singing. What else? I mean, or expand on that.
Yeah, no, a lot of fun. You know, really, really cool location, downtown Elgin, right on the river. Very cool. Billy Bricks, right on the river. A lot of fun. I was playing from 4 to 8. I ended up playing until 10. So that might even be a record of length of time that I played. But just a lot of fun. People out having a good time. And, you know, they pay me money and people put tips in the tip jar. That feels good.
That's nice. Just the tip. So that's what you did. You said you grilled out.
Grilled out yesterday. I had some friends over. A buddy of mine who's doing all the framing in my basement. He and his family came over and we did a cookout. A lot of fun. You know, I live in kind of a little wooded area, so it's nice. The kids get to explore around. It was a lot of fun.
You guys can kill your own dinner.
No, I mean, you know.
You can.
Yeah, he is a bowman because, I mean, he has an arrow tattoo.
I do.
So I imagine
bowman.
I imagine he bow hunts. What is that? What is that tattoo? What does that mean to you?
You know, how it.
Yeah, go straight.
So here, listen.
That's fantastic.
We're at a hotel in Charlotte, and he's showing off his tattoo to some people. And I said, "Are you Native American?" And he said, "No." And I said, "So what does that represent for you?" And he's like, "You know, so an arrow, because he's had a couple drinks. And he's like, an arrow, you know, it's straight. It's straight. It's like, so you got nothing other, you know, it's like a straight life and a forward to, fuck it, you know, he just sort of gave up explaining it. He had to just write it down and memorize it because he can do that. It's just who he has a really amazing, like, it was
real life changing explanation.
Bow hunting in northern Washington when a grizzly, you know, aren't grizzlies only around? Let's not talk about that. Trevor, what'd you do, Brent?
What did I do? I searched for ripe avocados. That was a big part of my Saturday. We had a green themed dinner on Saturday night. Lisa, Maggie, and I. So everything had to be green. You had to wear green, eat green. So lots of guacamole and pesto dishes and fresh vegetables, and so that was kind of badass. And then I put a rib out yesterday in the top of my rib cage, so that's fun. That's it.
Old person problems.
No, I've had rib out since I was young, in my 20s. Yeah, like they just go out on my back. It's something I get adjusted all the time. So ironically, Christine, my chiropractor, adjusted it last week and it went out today. Or yesterday. Hurts like hell.
You know, it's
like job security for her.
It is. She just keeps fucking it up, and then I keep coming back. That's the way it works.
This feels right.
That's right. But it's up in Canada. Well, chiropractic's not free in Canada, but you know, I can probably get all my other stuff for free for it.
Yes. Okay. You don't have to rub that in our faces. Okay.
Yeah.
One of my friends.
You know, my back surgery actually cost me $11. What was it? My back surgery, my bill was $11 or something like that, and then they deducted the $11 and make it $0.
One of my friends.
We charged you $11.
A woman that worked for me back in the day in retail, she had coronavirus really badly and went in intensive care unit and all this stuff. And because hospitals are labeling so much as coronavirus, insurance companies aren't stating, you know, supposedly everything is supposed to be covered, but they're not stating what's going to be covered until everything has been resolved for some reason. So those are going to start piling up. But either way, for intensive care unit, the testing, all these lab experiments, $79,000.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's nothing. I saw a guy in Seattle had a $1.1 million bill or something like that. He just was released. He had a 161 page explanation of treatment or something like that. But so you survive on a ventilator for 2 months. You come out like, oh, I'm cured. Like, here's your $1 million bill.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Me to death after that.
So Bill, besides taking a trip to the sun, obviously, what did you do this weekend?
I was outdoors quite a bit. Can you tell?
Do you know that there's sunscreen? Do you know that there's such a thing?
No, man, I have Mediterranean blood. I don't need sunscreen.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No.
Yeah.
It's the lighting. It's the lighting.
It's the stupidest thing ever.
It's the lighting.
I've heard a lot stupider recently.
Yeah, well, the sun, thankfully, is smart enough to make sure it understands genetics.
It does.
So,
it really does.
Yep.
So, is that better? Here, let me.
It's great. No, go back to the last one.
Yeah, somewhere in between. Somewhere in between Oompa Loompa and and Powder from the '90s film Powder.
Wow, dude.
All right, I'll fix it. So I'm having technical issues. That's what I did this weekend. As I tried to set up a new video rig, and I was really proud of myself and how well it worked. And then it just completely shits the bed when I need it. So you're welcome, America. I built this for you, and now I look at it.
You're welcome.
Don't worry.
But my chances of being elected president just went up like 10,000 fold.
Exactly. Well, if you can drink water with 2 hands.
Yes. Sorry.
If you can maneuver a ramp and drink water with 2 hands, you could be president.
It's all it takes.
Hey, listen, momentum. So anyway,
listen, you got to be that, Brent, and 70 plus. Okay, you can't be like in your 50s and do this anymore. You have to be in your 70s.
The answer to everything is the older and whiter you are, the better off everyone is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only
find the oldest, whitest guys you can find. Get them running things.
They only make
the giant painting behind you really screams that message too.
I'm gonna drink my coffee like this the whole.
So
the whole podcast.
Well, you got to catch it. You got to catch it like whoa.
Almost dropped my coffee.
Listen. Good weekend here. Just did the usual swimming. I went to lunch with a buddy of mine, John, and my wife and a couple of her friends. And that was Sunday. I went and got some dim sum downtown Saturday. So slowly but surely getting out of the house while staying mask wearing and social distance conscious. But beyond that, pretty reasonable. Regular weekend. So
I actually went to my niece's graduation though, and it was like the first real outing that I've had. Like, I mean,
is that one of those ones where they have those like school graduations from like they graduate from grade 4 to grade 5, like that complete waste of fucking. No,
it was an actual bona fide high school graduation. I don't believe it was bullshit
like a real graduation, not like congratulations, like you successfully didn't eat glue for 15 days, so we're going to promote you to 4th grade, but we're going to have a huge celebration about it.
Yeah, it was a real party.
Attacking those children. What's wrong with you?
Huh?
He's a monster.
Why are you attacking these children?
Because graduations in public school for any reason are fucking stupid. That's why. There, I said it.
No, I'm a monster. From like grade 3 to grade 4,
what a sophisticate.
Yeah, it's like let's have a fucking graduation because you got out of SK and you get to go into grade 1, so we're having a graduation ceremony. Like, those kids are little drunks. Who cares, right?
Yeah, it's like,
what did they do?
Yeah, they landed "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," and I've got to applaud for this.
Exactly. I gotta fork out money to go to something. I gotta put on a tie to watch some kid eat boogers and stand in a line and
Brent
sing
Wees,
a song.
ladies and gentlemen.
I'll eat my own boogers.
If I will, this is our 7th episode.
Wow, Bill.
Of your Monday morning roast. I'm your host, Joe Webb, along with my co-hosts and best industry friends, the real true best industry friends.
Oh, that's a shot.
David Hudson, Brent Wees, and Bill Playford. As you can see, Eric Milch is not here, which is why I said, really, this is my best. These are my top 3. This is our 7th episode, our show. Hey, just gathering around, friends, the old water cooler, coffee in hand, catching up on each other's weekends, talking about current events, and things we love and things we hate. You too will be able to join us if you have something to say about our topic, share a relevant story, ask us questions. know that you may be subjected to some questions of your own and a light roast, hence your Monday morning roast. This week's episode is sponsored by the law offices of Merkin, Taint, and Brown, victim of a car accident, catastrophic slip and fall, garden variety pit bull attack. Merkin, Taint, and Brown have you covered, proudly serving Swafflin, Virginia for 8 years. So over the weekend,
Good people at Merkin, Tate, and Brown.
Fine people.
Yeah. I did watch, Eric sent over a concert by Dave Chappelle, talking about a lot of what's going on, and it was tremendous. But he said it was pretty much, as far as he knew, the first concert that had been going on since the coronavirus took hold. And I realized, and I think I may have asked this in our thread back in the day, but because I have tickets, or I had tickets, I was supposed to watch, now I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but I was supposed to see the Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald. It's their 50th anniversary. Like, they were supposed to be in Tampa like 5 days ago. I had tickets to Liz Fair. I'm a big Liz Fair fan.
Oh, Liz Fair is great.
Yeah, big Liz Fair fan. I have countless theater shows that have been canceled. Bronx Tale, My Fair Lady, a bunch of theater shows that we have subscription or season tickets for. Def Leppard, Quiet Riot, Joan Jett, and Motley Crue coming together. My buddy and I were going to go see them, but they're, I believe, canceling. So I'm just saying, and I was wondering, and we'll get about live music, because for the longest time I hated live music, but I'm really starting to get back into, well, my wife and I go to see a lot of concerts. Last 4 or 5 years, we see a lot. Anything almost that comes into town we see. But is there a musician that could come out and do a full-scale amphitheater show near you that's going to be packed, that you say, yeah, these people are good enough, I like them enough where I'll go see it right now?
Are they be alive?
Yeah, live. No, yeah, well, here, I'll get to that later.
Alive.
I've got other questions.
Alive, I'm saying.
Yeah, no.
So if there's an act right now.
Yeah. Is there anybody that you say, I might put my health at risk going into an amphitheater with 18, 20,000 other people, sitting shoulder to shoulder and singing my heart out because they're going to be on stage?
Well, that's always, I'm a big Grateful Dead fan, so I'd see.
But they're not alive, dude. They're not alive. No, Jerry Garcia is not here. He's saying live touring bands, like people that are around now.
John Mayer's the new Jerry Garcia in that band. So read a book, will you?
Your body is
that's
a
who I would see. That's
your body is a wonderland.
Your body is a wonder bread.
Yeah.
Your body is a wonder bread.
All right, fair enough, David Hudson.
Okay, there you go.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So
John Mayer,
you would risk it. You'd risk it to go get good seats at a John Mayer Grateful Dead concert.
I guess if that's the case, risking it.
He just made it real. You're gonna risk your life.
Risk my life for it? I wouldn't risk my life for it, so I guess no.
Anybody? Brent? Bill?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like I
Lilith
almost
Fair? Do the Lilith Fair concert?
Yeah, exactly. Sarah McLachlan. Right now, to go to something where it's crowded like that, no, I wouldn't go see anyone. And there's lots of acts I love, but I think right now, no. And the counts are low here; they're not bad. But I think I would have to. I'm going to be end of year next year until I go see something.
The end of the year, next year.
End of the year or next year. Like the counts in Toronto aren't, they're not bad. They're definitely going down. But Toronto has the high counts because it's a major city.
Yeah.
But for me to go to a venue and see someone, it would be the end of this year or the next year before I go actually see something.
So during the second wave.
During the second wave, well, the second wave hopefully it won't be as bad in Toronto as it will be down there, because looking at everyone's Facebook, it's pretty bad. But if I had to see someone, right now, if I'm based on who I'm listening to a lot of, I'd go see Run the Jewels. If it was like, okay, you got to pick somebody, like, so David picked the Dead.
I didn't say you had to. I didn't say you had to.
No, I'd go see Run the Jewels. Their new album is amazing. So if Killer Mike was on tour with those
There's
guys
your better half, just walking right past you.
She is doing the drive-by.
Yep. So I mean, I know Bill because Bill has like 11 teen children. He hasn't gone to see anything but the Wiggles in concert for years, I imagine. But Bill, what's the first concert you remember actually seeing?
First real concert?
Yeah, real concert.
Well, Gary May will be happy, but it was Ted Nugent.
Nice.
Oh, really?
But it was with Damn Yankees. Damn Yankees. That's what my first concert I went to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Roughly how old were you? Did you remember that?
36.
It was 36. I was 25. No, I was like 12 maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about you, Dave? What's the oldest concert, the first concert you remember seeing?
Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins. Dude,
Kenny
hey,
Loggins.
Danny's song is still an incredible.
Yeah, one of the greatest. Yeah, it was my mom took us to see Kenny Loggins, and my sister got all the way up to the front of the stage, and I was singing up there as one of the slow songs, and she got to give him a hug.
He's freezing.
Yeah, the story is so good, it frozen.
Yeah.
You have to finish the end. You froze. What? Say the last.
Got it. So the end, my sister made it all the way up to the front. We're kids, and he gave her a hug and gave her a kiss on the cheek while he was singing his slow song or whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Nice.
What about you, Brent? I think
the first major show I went to was a police picnic here in Toronto, and they used to have these legendary shows. So it was a police picnic, and I believe on the bill was the Specials played that show. Maybe the Go-Go's, they were even before they broke. Iggy Pop played it. He hit himself in the head with a bottle. Yeah, he was singing Bang Bang, and he hit himself in the head with a bottle and knocked himself out. Nash the Slash, a Toronto icon, played that show. But the police picnic was, and I was maybe 11.
When you say the police picnic, do you mean like Sting and the rest of the band, or
they used to do these things outside of Toronto called police picnics, and they were outside of Toronto, and they did them every summer, and they came here and played, and they had like one year they had the English Beat and like all these other bands, but the last year they did the last police picnic, and they only ever did them in the Toronto area. The last one they did at this Canadian Exhibition grounds at the band shell. They used to go out to a piece of property out near Oakville and do them out there, but the last one actually had King Sunny Ade and his African Beats. It had James Brown. It had the Police, and I think that was the Synchronicity album. But I saw them as the first one, like
I still
4 years before, or something like that.
So you tease me a lot about because I've been going to the thing with my wife.
You're going to Doobie Brothers and Michael McDonald. Like the thing that ruined the Doobie Brothers was Michael McDonald.
No, listen,
Thank you.
I want to see all these musicians that I know are going to pass away in the near future. You know, I want to say, I saw this guy, I saw Neil Diamond, I saw John, I saw Lionel Richie, I saw Phil Collins. So we, Hall & Oates. So
you saw Phil Collins after he died too, which was amazing.
I was gonna say, like, Doobie Brothers are already dead. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Phil Collins was pretty much, he was both feet in when you saw him.
He was with a broken back and sitting down, and he was still better than all of Rush.
You scream, oh fuck,
dude, stop
whatever.
Right now. Just stop.
Hey, can I do my Michael McDonald impression right now?
Yes, sounds like Seals being pummeled.
Yeah,
that's Michael McDonald in a nutshell, right?
Sorry, Joe. Your point though about seeing.
Yeah, so I mean,
dead.
Yeah, so but either way, so we've been going to see that. Now I will say So I was going to ask if this will be a follow-up question. The first concert I truly remember seeing was Dirty Dancing in concert, where they brought all the bands. And this is my parents took me. It's not like I said this is my choice. They took all the bands that were on the soundtrack, and they had them do their songs and their hits from the entire show. And then obviously people came out and like did the dance and did the lift and all that stuff during it.
Yeah.
But there were still legitimate songs. There were still legitimate songs on that album. The second
classic.
This is the most embarrassing concert I ever remember seeing. We saw Milli Vanilli in concert.
Yeah, I saw them too.
Yeah, so
you didn't see anybody in concert really. You just saw a couple people.
Well, listen, I remember watching these guys, and they enunciated so well. They're like, "Blame it on the rain," and so then they pull this. They're trying to pull this attractive young girl up on the stage to sing to her, but instead this older lady took her hand. So when I say older, I'm saying like they almost ripped her arm out of her socket. She must have been 78, okay, minimum. She was on the low side of 80s. And they bring up, they sit this lady on his lap, and he's talking to her, and he's like, blame it on the stars. But then he turns it like, blah, 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 and I'm like, wow, he can really change his voice. I remember saying when I was like 12 years old, like, he can change his voice really well from singing.
When he sings, he sounds like this. When he talks like this.
Such an Islander voice. That
Your wife said, your wife is saying that, I'm just sort of looking at the comments about who they go see. I guess Vanessa would go see New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
She refused. I refuse. She always gets tickets. I refuse to go see New Kids on the Block, and it makes her angry. I refuse. I had great tickets to Garth Brooks. She refused. She will not listen to any country music, regardless of whether or not he's a good performer. And I refuse to go see New Kids on the Block. That's fair.
Well, any band full of 50-year-old men that are still referring to themselves as kids is kind of a scary date night, anyways.
Yeah, they like take their shirts off or whatever.
Sure, they do.
Yeah, who knows? But my wife, like, that's where she and her friends will go and tease their hair up or whatever, and wear jean jackets, and they'll go and do the whole thing for some reason. But that's
like,
not.
Well, it's not for some reason. I know why they're doing it.
What's the worst, or not the worst? What's the most embarrassing thing? So, Dave, you'd have to say Milli Vanilli then too.
Okay. Well, actually, one of the most embarrassing times I think I had at a concert is my friend's mother brought us to a concert to see Randy Newman. And it was during the time of Thriller and Beat It, right?
Oh, boy.
So he came with his Thriller jacket, and I came with my Beat It jacket, right, from Michael Jackson. And so there we are at this Randy Newman concert, looking like. I mean, we must have been in 5th grade, like 1984 or something like that. It
was like a 20-minute rendition of "I Love L.A." It just went on forever. It was like, it's
short people.
He's like Anaheim, Santa Barbara, Pasadena.
He's got none. He's had none of the Disney, like none of the Disney songs to pull from.
Can't do anything.
And at that point,
yeah, right.
Yeah. What about you, Brent? What's the most embarrassing?
Embarrassing what?
Concerts that you've seen. Have you ever gone to see a show like?
I don't see anything embarrassing.
Listen, I've walked out of Beck. I thought Beck was terrible in concert. I walked out of Bush, and I walked out of Goo Goo Dolls. All three of those were just about the worst.
You should walk out of the Goo Goo Dolls. I guess the worst show, like the most embarrassing show for the bands on stage. Probably the worst show I saw was I got two quick stories. First one I saw, the Breeders, when the Breeders played in Toronto when Last Splash came out, right? Major album for them, and they played Toronto, and they were so drunk. They played Lee's Palace. They were so wrecked. Like, I think that the whole show lasted maybe like they barely got to 6 songs. Like, it was just so bad, and people were just walking out. They were so hammered. And then when they played Lollapalooza that same summer later on in Toronto, like, Kim Deal started the set by apologizing for just such a bad, like, they
that bad.
It was that bad. It was an awful show. The worst lineup position I ever saw for anyone was again at Lollapalooza when the Beastie Boys were on it, and the way they had it up where the Beastie Boys were the second last act on the playbill that day, and the Smashing Pumpkins were the headliner.
Oh man.
And the Beastie Boys came out and fucking destroyed. And Lollapalooza was also known that no one played encores, but the Beastie Boys did an encore because the crowd was just like, it was too much. And the crowd, they did an encore, and they closed with Sabotage. They walked off the stage, and then the fucking Pumpkins came out like there's a long break to get the Pumpkins set up. They come out and they start with a ballad, and the park we were in, Molson Park up in Barrie, empty. People were out. Like that place was, we were passing by the exits by the stage because you had to go out the back and around. And as we were coming back and the Pumpkins were on stage, there was maybe a quarter of what was in the park still there. Like, everyone just hightailed.
I sold a couple cars to
worst band to follow, the Beastie Boys.
Land Cruiser and a 4Runner to Jimmy Chamberlain, who's the drummer for Smashing Pumpkins.
Did he pay you in heroin or?
No, in tattoos. Yeah,
tattoos, neck tattoos.
But I mean, he had a wife and a daughter there, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, but listen, Smashing Pumpkins, that was what, 94 they came out? Because I think I was a freshman in college.
Before that,
Really,
I saw them open up for the Chili Peppers in 88 or 89.
88.
Wow.
They were
Dude, these
around.
bands were around before. They don't just sort
I'm
of like
saying
make an
before they got-
album and
I'm saying before they got big, like when they got
Yeah.
commercial.
they were supporting their it's not the Cherub one. But anyway, yeah, I saw they opened up for the Peppers and we were like, holy cow, this band's super loud.
Yeah,
They were good.
Chili Peppers is incredible.
The Mother's Milk tour. They were supporting the Peppers on the Mother's Milk tour.
Oh wow, that's quite a long time ago.
That is the one thing I will say is Chili Peppers wise, like you could
Terrible
go
band
see
live.
Chili Peppers in the 90s and you could see them now and you'd probably get the same show. Like
Thank God.
it's a good show.
Yeah, but they're terrible live for a lot of years. And the only saving grace was that Flea was as good as he is. And then they got Frusciante playing guitar, and then it got good because Frusciante has made them get more melodic, like because they were a gong show. I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's really good. I think he's kind of magical, but I think that's the only reason they got good live.
Kind of magical.
That's okay. I think you're kind of magical.
Thank you. So
put on
I
your
gotta tell you,
purple
when
lights.
you
Put on
talked
your
about
magical purple lights.
when you
But
talked
I wouldn't
about
pay to see
Lollapalooza though, when I went and saw Lollapalooza a few years ago, Devo was the closing act.
Oh,
And
nice.
It was Tool and then Devo.
No,
and-
I should have flipped that
So
around.
like Tool just absolutely I was exhausted. I mean, it was just such a overload. Best live performance I've ever seen. And I don't know if it's because Snoop Dogg had played also at that same show, and I don't know if that was because I was so high from everybody in the audience.
Contact
But I gotta tell you, dude, like and it was like after Tool was done, whole freaking place just walked out. It was just too much. So I mean, it was, and then Devo came on, like, hey, what's up? And everybody's like,
Crickets.
whatever. You know what I mean? It was
Just
like
two guys,
underwhelming.
two guys in front of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my three
Good
favorite sets from Lollapalooza were probably the Beastie Boys. No, actually four. Tool on the side stage when they were coming, just breaking out. So they were side stage the first time they ever played Lollapalooza. And then Alice in Chains. That was a killer set. And Fishbone.
So let me ask, because you're talking about festivals now. Where have you guys ever gone to a multi-day festival?
No.
Yeah, I went to this
No.
festival in Chillicothe, Illinois, called Summer Camp. A lot of fun. You know, you camp out. A lot of venues. A lot of really great bands. There's kind of a hippie, vibe going on there.
You said camping. You get it.
I'd like to Dave's point though. I'd like to do Bonnaroo. I think Bonnaroo is kind of a cool. I don't know if I do Coachella, but I'd like to do Bonnaroo, Tennessee.
Yeah,
That looks
I
like
like
a
that.
really cool festival.
My idea of camping is like a Holiday Inn Express with
A
limited-
cottage.
Super 8 motel. Joe's
Yeah.
roughing
I'm not-
it.
What
I'm
am I?
not sleeping on the ground
Right,
like an animal.
Yeah, like the fleas.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've gone to the all-day events where you get there like 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. And I remember
Yeah.
one was tremendous. Now you'll make fun of me, but like, so it did have Blondie, but it had like
Blondie's cool though.
Blondie's okay. Free pass.
Right.
Yep.
But it had Blondie. It had what was Hole and
Yeah. Okay.
Courtney. What was it?
Courtney Love's band.
Courtney Love.
Courtney Love.
Who killed
She did
Kurt
the
Cobain.
She did the entire last song, just birthday suit, just like took off
Probably.
everything, just the entire last song, really crazy.
I saw People versus Larry Flint.
It had like Blink 182. I think it had like Bare Naked Ladies. It had Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think closed it, but it was the same thing where I forget who went on before the Chili Peppers, but Chili Peppers closed it, and it was but it's an exhausting day to listen to music all day long. Like it's just exhausting.
Yeah. And most of those places too, like you're out, and if it's sunny out, like you're just out in the open, right?
Yeah,
Like it's
right.
just the sun's beating down. I've been to shows where it's just been like 1,000,000 degrees out, and there's not a lick of shade anywhere. They're long days. So to do that now, like I'd never do a multi-day thing now without sort of doing it in some bit of comfort.
Yeah. So I mean, but I always say,
Stay in a
like,
hotel.
well,
go back
first of
and
all, what's the craziest concert experience you had?
Ice-T
Brent
and Body
broke
Count,
his back.
maybe.
Did you break your back at a concert?
Yeah, I got pummeled at a Fishbone show. So my back surgery, and it's kind of a combination of things, but I got hurt at a show where I've broken a couple fingers and things at shows, but I was at a Fishbone show at the concert hall in Toronto. Show started, and I'm 5'9" at that point, 125 pounds soaking wet. And so I'm up. They're surfing me towards the stage, and I'm looking this way, right? Like I'm backwards. I'm looking at the stage. Stage is this way, and I can see myself coming out. And it was the early days of mosh pits, like at big venues like that. Like I would go to Nuts and Bolts in Kensington Market and like all these other smaller punk shows. But the big venues were just starting to see mosh pits, and security guys just didn't know what the fuck was going on, right? It just freaked them out. And the one thing we noticed at the start of the show, like Fishbone got on, and kids are going crazy, and kids are going over the rails, right? Because they're trying to get on the stage to jump back off, and that's what you do at shows, right? But the security guards are like grabbing kids and throwing them out the side door of the venue, like they're just kicking kids out because they don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. And I got up, and it was getting really like they're throwing like tons of kids out. And the band, you can see the band seeing it, and I'm on top, and I'm going towards the thing, and then this bouncer puts his I'm like flat out on my back, and the bouncer takes his hands. I get to the rail, and the crowd's gonna like shove, throw me up on the stage or whatever, and the railing's like this close to the stage. But this bouncer took both hands on my abdomen and just slams me into the concrete floor, and I hit back first, and I immediately roll over. I'm in an intense amount of pain. I can't breathe, and then all of a sudden, like I'm being picked up by Chris Dowd, the keyboard player, is in the thing. He's picking me up. He's screaming at the security guards, like stop beating on these kids, right? And he kind of throws me back over. My friends grab me back over, and I just liquefied up and fixed it through alcohol for the rest of the show. But they stopped the show at one point, and because it was just getting so out of hand, and they said, like Angela and more, I remember saying, like, stop beating on these kids and stop kicking kids out. You throw another kid out, we'll turn this crowd on you, right? And then like all of a sudden, security was like they're just having fun, leave them alone. But that was a show where it got really intense. There was a body count, Ice-T and Body Count. They played same venue. Nice. And Ice-T was fucking, I like leaving Ice-T. He had like a whole bunch of kids, and there was black kids and white kids and brown kids, and we were getting ready to go burn down Yonge Street because of Ice-T. And I got but a really long time ago, the worst one was I got knifed by a skinhead in my arm at a show where there was a big fight that spilled out after a General Public concert. So right after General Public, right after English Beat broke up.
What an aggressive band.
And yeah, exactly, right? Like a General Public show, like they were so milquetoasty. Like, so you had Finding Cannibals in General Public. So we went to the show, and it was like a bunch of new wave kids, but all these skinheads showed up at the show, and they were the whole show. The skinheads were just causing problems, and it was at a point.
That's not like them. That's not like
no, not at all. But there was also, it was at a point in Toronto where there was like a lot of swarm, like it was kind of starting the swarm gang phenomena. And I got jumped at the end of the show because this skinhead wanted I bought a shirt at the merch thing and had it on over my stuff. And there's just this huge, massive fight broke out with a whole bunch of people, and right out in front of the venue. And I got tagged by somebody's, like, it was just a pen knife or something, like just a few stitches, but
it wasn't like a prison stamp. It was like
no, it wasn't like I got shivved with like a toothbrush that was made into a thing. No, just some fucking idiot skinhead decided to hit me in the arm. So I was late getting home that night. So I got grounded for being home late.
What about
like tell my mom I got knifed by a skinhead.
You were 11.
He's like, yeah, sure, Brent.
No, I was 10th. That was 10th grade.
What about you? Have you ever had any crazy live band or concert experiences, Dave? I mean, we've all been in a mosh pit, right?
I've been in a mosh pit.
You know, what I was watching some videos of kids in mosh pit. Mosh pits were dangerous back in the day, but it was really a lot of shoulders and elbows. Nowadays, if you see these new sort of almost emo mosh pits, they're purposely throwing their fists, throwing their arms. They're trying to connect with jaws. They throw fists a lot more, where before it was just like hit people through sheer blunt force. Now it's like trying to be struck, it seems.
I was weird. I went to Reverend Horton Heat. Brent and I were talking about this. It's a great concert. Saw him in Fort Worth. They're from Dallas. It was a blast. And we got there super early, right against the stage. Mosh pit happened. We just came out. I mean, just at the edge because it just, I mean, dudes like literally just like materialized. Like it's almost like they jumped over our shoulders and just started like flinging bodies around. We're like, what the fuck? What's going on? You know, like it's pretty intense. And to Joe's point, I don't know, like there's a certain amount, like when I was kids, we'd kind of jump around, bump it shoulders, like Joe's talking about. It was kind of fun, but like these dudes were like out for blood. And I'm like, it's a rockabilly band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just depends. It depends on the band and the crowd because there's a lot of, you know, I mean, I was saying to Maggie, it's interesting always in mosh pits because the ones I would do, like if you slipped and fell to the floor, you'd have like 20 hands on you pulling you up. So there's this different sort of, you're in there and people are just going off and getting whatever they want to get out. But they're also, it's this weird duality of no one's letting anyone kind of get really hurt.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
I see that.
Especially at hardcore shows, right?
That's more, as crazy as it sounds, maybe it's just my perception. But I think mosh pits were sort of more pure, but because of that, safer in the old days where now somebody goes on the ground, there's going to be 10 or 12 people there that want to use that see that as their opportunity to really hurt somebody. You know?
I don't know about that. I think what happens though, what I've always seen over the years, if people are like trying to hurt people, they're the ones that end up getting hurt. I remember a show, a guy kept jumping off the stage feet first at the crowd to go like, you know, and there's always hardcore shows and stuff, but if you start diving off feet first, the crowd just does this. They just separate.
So Brett, I think the difference is though is the Phil Collins shows are just like out of control.
Right.
Like
so at Phil Collins, if you're going to
people.
fall to the ground at Phil Collins and you drop your pudding cup, those geriatrics are going to stomp you out to get at your free pudding cup.
He hurt his back.
Listen, I've got a favorite concert experience.
Yeah, please. No, shoot.
Yes.
There's a park here in called Vasa Park along the Fox River, and the bike path goes along that direction. And so I don't know, this is about 9 years ago. I rode my bike. It was a camping experience. So I rode my bike down the bike trail to the concert by a band called Mr. Blotto, and had a blast, camping. I met some people, met a lot of new friends, saw some people I knew. Next morning, just a great night, they went all night long. Next morning, next morning I get up and it's 6:30 in the morning. I pack up my camp gear, pack up my bike, and the fog's, steam's coming off the ground, and there I rode home. That was one of my most favorite, and I was solo. It was by myself.
Nice.
Because it was like the ambiance, or was it like the music, or just kind of all those things?
The ambiance, the fact that I rode my bicycle there along the trail on the Fox River. Just the whole experience is really, really cool.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I saw Page and Plant when they played live, and that was just like a religious experience. Like it was so, it was weird because like, I mean, the show was really good, but the whole time I was just fixated. I'm like, that's Jimmy Page, that's Robert Plant. It's like half of me was sort of like awestruck. 'Cause I'm seeing guys who are like, basically like rock and roll gods, and then their backing group, so it wasn't like John Paul Jones was there. It wasn't like, John Bonham appeared. They're playing Led Zeppelin songs. They kind of remixed them, remastered them, did some different things to kind of make it more textural, I guess, with the band. They had a really big band, but it was just, I'll never forget that experience because it's at the time, and again, like I'll probably never see those guys live ever again. I thought that would be it, so that was a real highlight for me.
So Bill, is there anybody that still tours that you've never seen that you say, hey, listen, this is a bucket list, like I need to go see this person in concert?
Well, I'm super pissed because I wanted to see Rush, and when the R40 tour happened, I debated, but at the time my kids were actually getting into Rush, and I'm like, I want my kids to be old enough to go see Rush, and I kind of thought it'd be like the Rolling Stones, they'd just be touring for perpetuity, or the Grateful Dead, and then I missed it, and so when Neil Peart died, that was sort of the end of it. So like I really was pretty upset that I never went and saw them because shit, they came to Detroit like every single tour at least once, if not twice, and
just down the road, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like I had dozens and dozens and dozens of opportunities to see him over the years and just never did.
Rush is only the second best band out of Canada anyway. I mean,
next to the Bare Naked Ladies.
No. The Guess Who. The Guess Who.
Yeah. The Guess Who. Yeah.
The Guess Who. So you never saw Rush, but you would have liked to have seen Rush.
Oh yeah, I'm so upset I haven't seen Rush.
And I mean, so because I saw the last two Grateful Dead concerts ever at Soldier Field.
Joe, we were there at the same time then.
Yeah.
I was there too.
I remember the last one, but I really don't remember the second to last one, and I won't get into why. But that was a long, crazy, wild day, and the band opened for Grateful Dead, and the band was tremendous.
Yeah.
That was Jerry Garcia died like a month later after that.
Yeah.
And that was their last show, but that was an incredible weekend, a crazy weekend, and so I mean I've seen them, and then you just mentioned somebody else where it wasn't Rush, but like Grateful Dead. I've never seen. I still would love to see Eric Clapton, but I want to see an Eric Clapton blues, like a blues. He used to do something called Crossroads Tour.
Crossroads, yeah.
But I just never got to. I've never seen Eric Clapton, and he's one of my
done.
favorites.
He can't play anymore. He can't play anymore.
Clapton can't play music anymore?
No, I heard that he just mechanically he can't do it anymore.
Oh man. Okay, well then I guess I'm.
That's one off your list.
Well, who would you like to see?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Bruce Hornsby in The Range.
I can make that happen.
I was thinking Richard Marx, but Joe's already seen them live.
Richard Marx. Hold on to the night or whatever he wrote. If I get to see somebody, if I could see someone again, and it's
no, that's not the question.
Oh, that I haven't seen.
Yes, you haven't seen. You've seen.
I'd like to go to a Mastodon show, and that's something Bill and I were talking about. I've never seen Mastodon. And I love them.
Really?
I'd love to go see Mastodon. Maybe a Mastodon Slipknot double bill, because I haven't seen Slipknot either. I'd go see both.
Right now we'll get beat up at the pit.
Yeah, for sure we would. We can get in there. I know I can get your elbows up. Yeah, Mastodon and Slipknot. That would be kind of a cool double bill.
And you're gonna hate me. I've never seen George Strait, and I love me some George Strait as a guy. I know he just stands there, and I know he just sings. I know he doesn't do anything special. Yeah. But I'd like to see George Strait.
I'd go see Willie Nelson if Willie Nelson was just playing. I'd go see Willie Nelson. He's kind of badass.
Yeah. What about you, Dave? Anybody that you'd really like to see in concert that you haven't?
Rolling Stones.
And I've tried Rolling Stones tickets twice.
Wow.
I had a friend that I was spending time with, and she had box tickets to Rolling Stones, and I turned them down.
Wow.
Because I just couldn't care. I was 23, 22 at the time, just couldn't care less. And then again, when we were in Vegas, Bill, and everybody had tickets to see Rolling Stones when we were in Vegas, and Jerry's like, "Hey, you want to come to Rolling Stones?" Where I'm just like, "Nah, I don't. I just didn't want to. I don't know why. Huh. It's like I respect them and I like some of their music, but I just didn't want to spend 3 or 4 hours seeing.
Hey, listen, I gotta rescind. Actually, my favorite concert experience was with you guys watching
Cheap Trick.
Cheap Trick in Vegas.
Cheap Trick was so good. That was a great show.
And watching his son play with them, fuck.
Yeah, Rick Nelson's son filled in for Rick because he had the flu.
That's right.
Brett Michaels, yeah. Because I mean, like
Brett Michaels was a good. Cheap Trick was good.
Cheap Trick was awesome.
I mean, we were also right there. Like Brett Michaels had like 3 times.
Twice, yeah, right. Yeah.
This is like
Brett Michaels. That was the last half of that was a Vegas show, but the Cheap Trick set was like that was dynamite.
The guy that was hosting that show, the guy that was hosting that show, I'd recognized him. I'm like, fuck, I know that guy who's hosting that whole show. He actually owns a club in St. Charles, which is a town a couple miles south here, called the Arcada. And his name's Ron Onesti, and really cool guy, super connected, and has this really great venue in St. Charles on the river. Very cool. But that was my favorite. That was my favorite.
I'd go see Keith Richards in the Expensive Winos in a small venue before I go see the Rolling Stones again. I was listening to that. I was listening to his albums with them, and they're all these amazing session players, right? Like one of the Neville brothers like plays keyboards, and the dude that plays lead guitar and that is that long curly hair dude he played with Sheryl Crow and everybody else. But Keith's band for the Expensive Winehouse, they're fucking awesome.
Bad.
I heard the Stones last tour was not bueno at all. Like I heard it was not good. I heard it's like I think I may have saw the last. Thank you, Jay Radke, by the way, for letting me go that show with him. I heard like that was a couple of years ago, but my my best friend and some of our buddies from college went and saw him. I think it was last summer, and they said it was not good at all.
Yeah, someone said that about the Van Halen shows when like David Lee Roth went back out with them, and Barry and a few other guys we work with are massive Van Halen fans, like they're crazy Van Halen fans, and they came out pretty disappointed. They were like,
yeah, well, that's the thing about David Lee Roth though is like it's always like 140% David Lee Roth. He comes out and he's like, I mean, it's not.
Still good
he's
fun,
not
man,
like he is, but I mean, like it just sort of takes away from the music to a degree. And since Michael Anthony is no longer part of the band,
I think you got like Eddie's son playing bass. Like, shut up. You gotta have Michael Anthony there. It's not Van Halen without all the original people.
I guess I was never a Van Halen guy because I never have any desire to see that as well. That is
you don't like Van Halen?
No.
You're not American.
I guess not.
I was gonna say, dude, like
you can hate me, but like I think sometimes you had mentioned like Dave. That was, from a concert perspective, one of the best concerts, not just because of the music and we know all the words in every single Cheap Trick and Bret Michaels song, but the company we were with, I mean, like, I remember my wife and I went and saw, and I'm sure you'll make fun of me with this. I think
we will.
Chicago and Journey or something like this, and it was at a place called the Northerly Isle Pavilion, and Dave's seen a show there. The Lake Michigan's right behind you. You're this huge amphitheater outside venue. Then there's all these yachts and sailboats all lit up, and then the entire Chicago skyline right behind you. And at least if it's still around in Chicago, it is one of the best musical venues. Maybe not for audio quality, but for just sheer taking it all in and scenery.
I'd go see Journey to see their new singer sing, because like the documentary on them finding him and how good he is, like. And I liked Journey when I was a kid. Journey was a band I totally liked, but I thought it was very compelling.
Perry.
My wife prefers Chicago. We've seen them probably 5 or 6 times. I prefer.
Well, of course you do, because you guys don't like seeing anyone under the age of 80 perform live music. So
Agreed.
Clearly, it's like, are they?
Well, that's Brent. That's actually a great point. We've talked about a bunch of really old bands. Like, is there any new music you guys listen to? Because I struggle with this with my music.
I would love to see Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Julie Lozano. Yeah, so Julie Lozano, who's next up's new director of marketing, she and want to say a sax player, they went to school in because that whole band formed out of Colorado. At the Dealer Socket User Summit that they had in San Antonio on the last night, they had their big outdoor party at the JW Marriott, and those guys played. They got off a plane because he said they organized it all. They came back from Europe, completely jet lagged, and played this outside like patio lantern venue they set up, and you could stand like on the grass, like right at the stage. The band then drank with everybody later on that night and hung out like. They were Nathaniel Rateliff, Joe, and the Night Sweats. Yeah, go see them. They're so good.
So you have seen them, because they're there's only like 2 newer singers or bands. Like one is named Alex Clare, I think he's a UK guy. He's pretty good. And then the other is Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. And I really
Nathaniel Ratliff's solo stuff. Like if you haven't listened to it, because I know people just know him from Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. But I was watching a documentary on a bunch of folk singers. Dave, you may like this one, and I'll find the name. But it was about a bunch of singer-songwriters that did a tour in Volkswagen vans.
Oh, wow.
I'll find it for you, Dave, and I'll message. Like, Dave, I think you'll really like it. But that's how I discovered Nathaniel Rateliff, because they had a dude from England, and Nathaniel was on it, and the Paris Sisters maybe. But there was this really cool documentary. It was like, 40 cities in a van or something, but it was about these singer-songwriters using VW vans to do this tour.
Cool.
And that's how I discovered Nathaniel Rateliff. He was super good.
Yeah,
go see them, Joe.
So I got one more question, and we'll wrap stuff up, because then I've got a part A and a part B. A dead no longer living singer and or band gets to come back and do one show in your preferred venue. It's going to be a crowded show, but like let's assume there's no COVID, there's nothing. Who is that band that you'd want to see, and how much would you reasonably pay for an amazing seat at it?
I'd see Prince.
Okay.
And I'd pay $250 for a good seat.
Yeah, you have to pay $250 for a good seat to current people.
That's all I got.
Yeah. You only got 250.
No. Okay, fair enough. We'll take the money out of it. Just so if there's one person that comes back from the past, you'd say it'd be Prince.
Prince, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Said Prince.
What about you, Brent?
Well, Dave took Prince because that's a no-brainer. That one. Because I never got to see him play, so that would be that. But Beastie Boys, Adam Yauch.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
With Yauch in there, yeah, like.
Yeah, if they came back for one show, like they
That
and good for
special
them
on
to
Apple
stop
TV.
too, right?
That special on Apple TV, did you see it though? Because that was just.
That's the book. They read.
Yeah.
They were basically on stage doing bits of the book because I did read the book and it's fantastic. But Yauch is I would see him, but
Yeah,
because they stole my Prince
force of
answer.
nature. Well, the book and they had some different kind of bits in the show. I did the book too, and
yeah, but the audiobook,
Yeah.
audiobook was so badass because of all the people that got to read it. But that would be my band since we had Prince covered off already.
I would do Hendrix. I would literally sell a car to see Hendrix. I mean, I've contemplated because it came up before, and the dude just like rewrote the book on how to play the guitar, and like I can't imagine like there's the Beatles, what they did to music. And like I said, I think Nirvana did something like just change the face of music. But like Hendrix, like basically reinvented the role of the guitar player. And I just can't, I want to see like where that started. Because there's nothing really before him I mean, there's some blues players who were good. And I would even say like after Eddie Van Halen, dude walks on water in my mind, still no Jimi Hendrix. I mean, just for everything, I would pay anything to see him.
I think Clapton's better than Van Halen. But...
Fuck you.
Oh, dude.
From a guitar playing?
Stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
I don't care what it is. So, I mean, I would say, and this is going to be throwback, I would love to see the Rat Pack. Like the full Sinatra, Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. I would love to see, even Bishop. I mean, I would love to see the old school Rat Pack in concert in like a big lounge with the tables and the drinks. Like I could do of them just trading off back and forth on stage together, sometimes not. Give me 6 hours of the Rat Pack, and I would be happy. Now here's the part B, because let's say you'd sell a car to see Jimi Hendrix.
He said, "Kid."
Did I? Got a couple spares.
So anyway, you'd sell a car to see Jimi Hendrix. Roy Orbison came to town last year, who's no longer with us, in hologram form. What would you pay to see a Jimi Hendrix hologram concert?
They'd have to pay me.
Okay,
Eat it deep. I'm not going to a hologram show.
So as good as that hologram is, you could care less.
How much did you pay for your Roy Orbison hologram experience, Joe?
I didn't. And listen, because of the old
You used to have three kids, Brent. You used to have three.
Because of the old Columbia House tapes, like the Roy Orbison best of was one of my first like cassette tapes.
Joe still owes Columbia House $17.
Everyone owes
the debit card. All these years
Everyone's into Columbia House thick.
If Columbia House recouped a quarter of what it was owed, it would be the Netflix of our generation.
It'd be the Amazon money.
Exactly. So,
but you saw Phil Collins. He was a hologram at that show that you were at.
No, he was still good. I am fortunate that we didn't go see, because I just saw Billy Joel last year. I mean, like, I've never seen. What was it? I missed Elton John. That's a long story.
I saw him on his what was that COVID thing where he sang "I'm Still Standing in the Backyard" recently. That was horrendous. Like I watched about 30 seconds of that, and he didn't make one word. Like he was singing stuff, but none of it was words.
No, listen, my wife.
Look it up.
My wife saw him in concert, and he was terrible as well. I like old throwback songs. Like I like Big Daddy and swing music. Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Swift. Like I'm a soul music guy. And so every now and then when a blues or soul musician comes in town, I will go see them, but there's not a lot of them touring, sadly.
Joe, you should listen to Wood Brothers. They're really good.
Oh, yeah,
You
they're
like
good.
them.
Wood
Wood Brothers are killer.
Yeah, they're great.
Wood
Hey,
Brothers, old
Andrew Street, real quick. Andrew Street said he'd see Beethoven.
Overachiever.
Yeah, Andrew,
Overachiever.
Yeah, come on the podcast, Andrew. We'll light you up like a Christmas tree right now. Beethoven. Don't act
Trying to
all
get
smart.
brownie points from somebody.
I've hung out with Andrew Street a lot. He's not that bright.
Yeah.
He was at that concert with us, wasn't he?
He was there. I've hung out in Austin with Andrew. I'd go to a show in Austin with Andrew.
love me some
Andrew
Good,
Street's a good
Andrew's a
dude.
good guy. He's just got shitty taste in classical music.
Oh my God, yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
go see Beethoven. Maybe that makes me look smart. Shut up. You know, he's only saying that because they play baby Beethoven for their daughter right now. That's why, probably.
Yeah, right. It's at top of mind.
But here's cool stuff that Joe that you probably like. So you like Wood Brothers. Hey, David, I think Joe would like the Wood Brothers.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're really good.
I've heard
And
them.
well, I was saying that if a company is really smart, and not to talk shop talk, but NADA is in Dallas next year. Is it, or New Orleans? It's Dallas is
New Orleans
the new
is
spot.
2021.
So I would, if I was a vendor and you're going to throw a party with a great band, get the old 97s. They're from Dallas. Like, so that's a band you'd like.
So listen,
like, check
bands
those
that you
guys
might
out.
like.
You like Nathaniel Ratliff?
The Record
and
Company. Have you heard of them?
No.
No.
The Record. Oh, they're
Yeah?
a great band. Along with that, along like same thing.
Don't you hard grunt me. Holy cross.
A lot like Nathaniel Ratliff. My glitching, was that good?
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that
glitched
was
right on
really
one of your
bad
threads,
Oh,
too.
boy.
You-
Glitching all over.
you
Hey,
glitched all
Facebook.
right.
I'm glitching.
Hey, Facebook. Let's talk about talking about our feelings on our post.
Hey, listen though. Any old bands that are still making good new music though? Because I heard the new Kansas album. It just popped up on my Spotify new music playlist. No, dude, I was like, it was legit. The singer could actually sing dead on, like note for note, and I was like pleasantly surprised. Like, am I gonna go out and buy it? No, but I mean, I was really shocked by how well he could sing still. Most singers, especially that sing in the higher register, they can't get there. They just cannot get there anymore.
Well, and what's interesting is, like, if you look at Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, he didn't have that upper register when he started, but now he does.
Yeah.
It's literally the only way he knows how to sing. But I will say, about 8-9 years ago, Al Green came out with an album called Lay It Down. And when I tell you, it sounds like it was made in the 70s, but in like 2010s. It is so, like, if you like soul music, and that's my preferred music, it is so damn good. Like, the entire album is just sexy and awesome. Al Green's Lay It Down.
That's the way I describe the new Death by Stereo single. Sexy and awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I do
That's
it.
how I describe the new Meshuggah signal. If you like Swedish death metal, it's fantastic.
That's right.
I don't like, and the only stuff I listen to.
Al Green though is fantastic. You can't knock Al Green at all.
Yeah. But I don't know the last time I actually bought an album. I mean, I'm sure I do. I mean, I'm sure.
Vinyl?
No.
Who has a record player? Dave, do you have a record player?
I do. Oh yeah.
You have a record player?
Yep.
Lisa's got one. She's got
I
vinyl.
stream everything.
Same, me too. I've been streaming since like eMusic, even like right after LimeWire and all that stuff. eMusic was kind of the first, like, here's all the music, one price a month type of streaming thing. But I try to go to shows and I try to buy merch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really like a band. If I really like a band, I go buy their CD with this specific purpose of trying to like pay the money. You know what I mean? So, but like I have Spotify, so I know they're getting something off of me. So
not much, but
yeah. I mean, the most recent album that I bought was Ray LaMontagne. I did buy that, and I bought the Best of Percy Sledge. So again, I'm old school, and I bought another Temptations album, and then one from Clapton. So again, that's the type of.
And then the Boney M Christmas album.
Were you scratching an itch? You're scratching an itch.
Me?
Yeah, Dave.
What else you got? What else you got?
Yeah, Dave. I'm just talking about.
What else you got?
Talking about record players. Calm down.
It's like Al Green. Al Green.
Really? Wow.
Love some Al Green.
I got a little too much sun on my legs, so it's itchy.
Hold on a second.
There was the line back there.
Yeah, he crossed it.
Joe's
Joe,
over
we know
here.
your mom is on this right now.
Little bit.
so-
That's fine.
Exactly.
Over the line.
She's seen
Joe-
me act horribly worse than this.
Joe's mom's on the podcast right now, gender checking everybody.
Yeah. All right.
So,
An expert apparently, like all the old Republicans.
Yes, she is.
Did I say something bad? Oh,
That's fine. Sorry. Let's go and it's a shame Eric wasn't here to join us
it is a shame.
because
He's out getting a sub.
I mean, I don't
He's
know.
out getting a
I don't know if he listens to music. He doesn't seem
He
like.
does.
If we asked him
Do
what
you?
concerts, he'd be like, "I go to see podcasts." You know?
No, Susan. Yeah, Susan goes to a lot of shows, so I think he goes with Susan to a lot of shows.
Yeah, just
Susan has impeccable taste in music. She does.
She does. Yeah, Susan Mills, if you're watching, good on you.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, guys. As always, any final words about music, live music? When do you plan on going back and seeing some live music?
We just said that.
Hey, if you tune in this Friday, I'll be playing at the Chubby Bullfrog.
Yay!
Frog, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, I don't think there's any concerts till next year, but I want to go see a band called Intronaut and a band called Astronoid. They're just like melt my face off. Awesome musicians.
That's the stuff you text me before, right?
Dude,
think you sent- I think you sent me that
Tell
stuff.
me, like, see, not to go off on a little bit of a tangent, and for
Hey,
those of you
don't.
who want to get off, go ahead and get off. I don't care. But or Dave, just get off. But
Yeah, right.
Ugh.
gotta get off, get off. But like I said, what I don't like about modern music is I don't feel like it's the craft, right? I don't think they can play their musician like the ship. I mean, like the instruments, the guitar. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, clearly I like Hendrix. Clearly I like Van Halen. I respect Eric Clapton, but those dudes had just a commitment to playing their music. Grew up playing drums. I love different drummers. And I just don't feel like with modern music, I don't get that unless I get off into the really weird pockets of progressive metal I listen to now. But like, I just don't get any enjoyment out of people who can't play their music. It's sort of like watching basketball today. Like they, 3-point, but they can't hit their free throws. It just annoys the shit out of me. So, but it's just like that respect for the craft and learning how to play your instrument and making it make different noises. I know Dave plays guitar, but like, just like all the different harmonics and stuff like that, I just don't feel like people focus on that stuff anymore. So like these couple bands that I just started listening to, like these guys are just astonishingly good musicians. And there's like little surprises, little Easter eggs you hear in their music. And I want to go see it live. And I've watched this stuff on YouTube. and
Yola.
stuff like
She's
that, and it's
amazing.
really good.
Yola.
What'd you say, Dave? Sorry.
Yola. It's a female artist. She's awesome. Yola.
Yeah.
Check that out.
YOLO.
YOLO.
You'll
YOLO.
only live once.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
You only YOLO once.
You only YOLO once. I love
Hey, your
YOLO.
mom gave a shout out to the James Gang, and hell yes, love the
Yeah.
James Gang.
Whose mom did that?
Joe's mom, love the
Oh,
James
yeah.
Gang.
Yeah.
There's only one redeeming quality to the Eagles.
The Gap
Okay.
Band.
Only
There
one.
is-
Hey, don't
Wolf.
bash on the Eagles.
Fuck the Eagles.
Listen, was it the Eagles? I think Bill and I believe the Eagles was it the most overrated band, or was that?
Yeah, I think we agreed that was the most overrated.
Says
band.
the fanboy who got his picture taken with a 90-year-old REO Speedwagon lead singer at a couple years ago. You know,
They
like
put on a good
the
show.
worst band ever.
They
Like
put
a
on a
life
good
moment
show.
for Joe. Joe scrapbooked it beside pictures of the birth of his kids.
I will say, like, I saw Paul Simon a couple years ago. He wasn't very good. He wasn't very good. But again,
He's 100.
I'm going to see these people during their last tours and people that are going to be dying soon, so I can say I did it. And also because, like, I can't think of many new musicians that I'd be like, yeah, I want to see these.
But if you think about that, though, you're going, okay, I want to go see these guys before they so you're going to see a very old performer, and like Bill was just saying, Eric Clapton can't play anymore because of mechanics or whatever, right? So you got to shut it down. So if you've been to crappy shows with older artists and you know what you're going to get, why would you keep spending money to go see something that potentially is a 50-50 that is going to suck?
Because it makes my wife happy.
So you're a people pleaser. Good.
Hey, Hixie, I'm sorry.
Show for today, everybody.
I'm a
We'll
wife.
see you a little later.
I'm
Bye-bye.
a wife
People
pleaser.
pleaser. Haha,
My-
Joe.
Besides Chicago, one of my wife's favorite concerts, which I thought was terrible, was the Beach Boys.
Beach Boys are terrible.
because she knew the words to every song, and
Well, but I think that supports my point, though. Like, they were sort of an act. You know what I mean? Like they weren't like musicians. They were like
Well,
an act.
Pet Sounds was good. They were a band at one point until
A long
Brian
time.
left.
It
But
was-
yeah,
I will
Pet
say
Sounds was like the rest.
my buddy.
But you're right though. They are an act though.
Yeah, my buddy for his birthday went and decided to see Candlebox for his birthday, so we all went with him. And when I tell you, that was the worst show I've ever imagined in a million years. When I tell you, I didn't know it. They had like 3 opening bands, 3, each one
For
like
Candlebox.
30 minute sets, and each song went forever. I did not know, recognize, or like a single song from any opening band or all of Candlebox until the final song of the night. And the whole time you're standing in like standing room only, and it's on a downward hilt. So like we just hated it. Like everybody hated that show.
What part of not knowing that was going to suck though? Going in, you're going to a concert that's headlined by Candlebox.
Good friend's birthday.
Oh shit!
It doesn't matter. I don't care. If Bill said to me, "Listen, like I've got these 2 amazing seats for Candlebox, and like this is a life moment for me. Like it's like if Bill is chronically dying of something, it says my last wish is for you and I to go to Candlebox together. I would say, fuck you, Bill Playford. You're going by yourself.
You put a pillow over my face.
I would end it. I would wrap a plastic milk bag around Bill's head and I would kill him.
Dude, you literally just texted 3 days ago that I would run through a brick wall for you guys.
I would run through a brick wall for all of you until you invited me to a Candlebox show, and then I would strangle you to death.
Very gentle. Very gentle.
No, not
Very
gentle at all.
gently.
It would be violent and it would hurt.
How do you do anything with a broken back?
I can do everything, just because it's all fixed
He'll
now.
play.
The spider monkey is back.
He'll play for the feature.
I was like, Bill is not as easy to kill in his sleep as you'd think.
No, yeah. I heard.
He's like a ninja. He's like a
just warning you.
He's ready to go.
Come alive.
He comes right alive.
That's a great,
Yeah.
great.
He takes it for a few
somewhat
minutes and
inside
looks
story.
right at you.
Yeah, he'll catch the sword and he'll hold it in his hands. All right, guys. Hey, love talking movies and music with you. Sorry, music.
Movies.
Music.
We'll do movies again next week, okay? For 5 seconds.
Door.
But that's great. And
Anybody-
I'm sure all of us will go see another concert that we all sort of agree upon one day.
Nickelback.
No thanks. One person has to say it.
Where?
Joe.
No. Maybe we all go see Nathaniel Ratliff together. That'd be a good show together.
Dude, I'd
Yeah.
love to see that. Yeah, I'd love to. And there's a great band from Chicago called Them
Chicago?
Guilty Aces, which is coming up, Them Guilty Aces. And it's sort of like a rockabilly, retro, throwback soul band. Check out Them Guilty Aces. It's
Them
really,
Guilty Aces.
Yeah.
Good.
Anyway,
We'll do.
I've been listening.
All right.
Talk to you guys later. As always, we'll be talking. And cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Sorry we didn't have anybody on today, but Eric wasn't here, and Eric.
Thanks, Lisa, for the nifty cup.
Nifty.
This is data.
She got this. She just got this for me for the podcast. She ordered this for me from her fancy candle place.
That's really sweet.
70s cup to go with my 70s
I was
hair.
gonna say she shoot up Etsy or like a garage sale or
No, it's some fancy store.
It looks at the bottom and it says
Sage form.
Kaiser Soze.
That's just I'll say right here.
Says,
it says grandma on the bottom of it.
All
says
right. Later, guys.
Epstein was murdered.
Okay, we gotta let Dave off so he can go to the bathroom. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, bye.
See you guys. Thanks guys.